Earlier this year, we made a video telling you guys that the two Pecron E3600s with the 240 volt hub is probably the best way to spend your money on portable power this year. And we still stand by this as long as you can get over one fatal flaw that we originally missed. So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. Before we get into it, really quickly, we actually want a tiny bit of help from you guys. We put together a really quick little survey to help us understand why you guys are here and what you guys want from our content. So if you guys don't mind actually doing that little survey really quickly, either right now or at the end of the video, we would really appreciate that. It's just gonna help us make better videos for you. We originally said that this combo is the best way to spend your money because it's quite literally the best bang for your buck. Right now, the EcoFlow Delta Pro 3 costs about $2,700. It has a 4 kilowatt inverter with a 4 kilowatt hour battery. The F3800 costs about $2,800. It has a 3,800 watt hour battery with a 6,000 watt inverter. And the Pecron bundle is 2 units, so basically everything doubles. You get a 7,200 watt inverter, you get a 6,000 watt hour battery, you get double the plugs and port options, and with the 240 volt hub, you get 240 volts. And right now, the whole bundle comes in at about 2,600 bucks, which is still cheaper than both those other options for a lot more. The only thing that's really equivalent to that is a Delta Pro Ultra, has a 7,200 watt inverter and a 6,000 watt hour battery. But that thing is upwards of $4,000. So this is a great deal and we do still recommend it, but depending on how you plan on using it, you may end up hitting your head against the wall when you go to charge it. If you're using solar, by the way, to charge these units, this doesn't affect you at all. This is only an issue if you're charging it with AC. These units are designed to charge at 120 volts. It actually comes with 2 cables. You can charge it with a 30 amp plug for 3,600 watts of input. So that would be a super fast charge on this unit. It also has a regular plug that charges it at 1,800 watts for a standard charge on the unit. But when you have the 2 units hooked up together with the 240 volt hub, this is basically where you end up. So right now we have the 240 volt hub connected and we are outputting a total of about 4,000 watts, 2,000 on this unit and 2,000 on that unit. And even though both of these power stations are plugged in and ready to charge, they both have a warning saying they can't be charged when they're in AC output in series, basically meaning when they're outputting 240 volts. So if you were to go ahead and turn off the 240 output, you have to give them a minute to realize that they've been disconnected. And you'll see right away, this one jumps to it and starts taking a charge. Which honestly to us makes no sense because you're able to pass 120 volts right through this unit. You could be running a 120 volt load off the front while putting 120 volts in to charge it and it just passes power through. Theoretically, you're doing the same thing, you're just doing it at the same time through both units. So putting 120 into each unit, 120 coming out of each unit, combining to make 240. I don't know why Pecron doesn't allow it to do this. So what does this actually mean? Basically, if you were running in a situation like Josh's tiny home, you could charge these units all day, outputting 240 volts to your panel with solar panels. So you could have DC solar coming into these units, charging them up, no problem. They could be charging at different rates, it doesn't matter. But if you ran into a situation where the sun went away, it's the middle of winter, and you're trying to charge these up with the generator or some other source of power, you actually have to kill the output to put power in. So in Josh's case, he would have to power down the entire home and then charge these things with a generator before powering back up the entire home. Now, the good news is that these do have a 30 amp plug, so you could fast charge them in under an hour with the 30 amp charging cable, but it's still not ideal that you have to turn off the entire output just to put power into it. In his case, you wouldn't be able to use these because he would not enjoy always having to turn it off just to charge it in the winter months. Now, that's not saying that units that output 240 volts are perfect. A lot of power stations that output 240, when you try to input 120, it will not work, but you have the option to input 240, which you could then pass through. So theoretically, you could have a 240 volt generator passing that power through. This doesn't have a 240 volt charging option, which is really the problem. If you still want to get this bundle, or if you already have it, you could get creative and shed your loads down to only 120 volts and charge your power station while you're only running the 120 volt loads. You could come up with some sort of way to convert that power into DC and then shove it into the solar charging port, and the unit would know no different as long as it's getting power fed into it. Anyways, this isn't the end of the world, but it's definitely something that we wanted to bring to your attention because we have been recommending this unit a lot, and then we started noticing you guys in the comments telling us that you can't charge it properly when it's happening, so we wanted to make sure that we relayed this information to you. We actually reached out to Pecron as well to see if maybe there was some sort of software update that they could release that would help this problem. And they basically told us that's the way it is. They're releasing a new power station shortly that they're in the middle of running tests to make sure that it can do the 120 volt while outputting 240. That doesn't entirely help everybody that's already got one. At the end of the day, you are still getting such a good deal on this that if you can work around it or figure out a way that that doesn't affect you, it's still something we recommend. It's still a really good deal. If you guys have a workaround or have experienced this issue for yourself and you have a solution, please leave it in the comments down below. We will make a video on the best solution that we can come up with your guys' feedback. As always, we have links in the description down below to the units that we talked about, any coupon codes that we can get for you, and the quick little survey that would really help us make better content for you guys. So if you don't mind going down there and doing it really quickly for us, that would be great. Sorry for anybody that has already got this and experienced this problem before we were aware of it. That was something that slipped through the cracks on our testing. We will catch you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Sell Tiny Baby your information so he can sell it on the dark web. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out and stay charged.